Mystery shoppers, we get external people in. We've given them 170 questions, which we collectively as a team in every department have pulled together. What's important to that team? They've added in a couple more themselves. They come around every quarter, unannounced, and we get a report 3 days later. It's every part of our business. It's from the phone call. The phone, and I say caught out, it's the wrong word. I have been interviewed by phone, shall we say. And it's great because no one, you know, so when the report comes through, I spoke to a gentleman called Jeremy, and okay, they know it's me now, but you know, it's great because that report then goes around all the staff and they can see that I get pulled up. You know, I didn't introduce myself or something or whatever it was. I didn't push things high enough. So mystery shopper, fantastic. A lot of question marks and that was brought in. Staff were like, I don't like this sounds a bit like Big Brother. Since then, since they've seen the results and they can see that they can get 100%, and the first team that got 100% were all of a sudden like, aren't we fantastic? And all of a sudden the other teams were like, right, I want to be like them. So a bit of in-house competition, never a bad thing. Rigorous complaints procedures, complaints are never good. However, it's how you deal with them. When I joined the company, that was around about day 8 or 9, I was kind of conscious that I was getting more complaints than compliments, and I thought this can't be right. And they were coming in thick and fast. It was just where we were as a business. About a month ago, I said to my team, "This is fantastic. We haven't had a complaint in 5 months." Then we got 3 in 1 week. So I never sort of say that again. But you know, it's one of these things. They do come, and generally they come at a time where you just know maybe staff are thin on the ground or whatever, and they do come in from time to time. It's how you deal with that and how you get that person back on board so they'll come back. Always invite people who've had a complaint. I say, I could throw money at you, but I'm not going to. I'd rather, if you want, I'll give you money back. That's fine. What I really want is you to come back and let me show you that actually that was a one-off. And I've learned from that, and the team have learned from that. And generally they do, and generally they sort of go that full circle again, and they will then start recommending you. It's not wrong.
Do you show your staff the compliment letters?
Absolutely. We have feedback, and if they're named, it will go back to that individual person. If it's a letter that comes in, it will go on the staff notice board so everyone can see it, if a function or something like that. Someone's written and said thanks very much about that. But I'll also do about complaints. It's important they see it. And if there is a complaint, I will say, okay, let's find out what it is. If someone's named, we'll have a chat with that manager and find out more about what may have led to that, because it might not be that person's fault. They'll say, well, that girl, she gave me food and it was cold. It's not actually her fault. It's probably the kitchen, and it's probably been sitting there because of whatever reason. So it may not be that particular young lady's fault if she was serving. So just finding out, you know, what's driven that. And ultimately, the business success side of things, growth in sales, business profit, that's obviously all important. I've got a financial background, of course it's important. But it's more than that. It's reputation, it's accreditation. It's people like the Thistle saying, do you know what, that business is good. And it's not nothing to do with me, I filled in a form, but they've then come and done a mystery shop, whatever. It's people actually recognising that we're doing the right things and we're doing them right. Holding on to my staff, we have very low churn now, which I'm very pleased about because we have the right staff now and they're staying and they want to stay. That's actually another good measure of how well you're doing. We are, I believe, an employer of choice. We really do look after our staff. We pay more than anyone else in Crieff by a long stretch, but it's more than that. It's all the added things as well.
Is it good? Because I agree, it is good because you continuity and you
Yep.
can train them the best. But then you have the problem about, well, actually, if some people retire, you've got no fresh blood coming in. It's that freshness. How do you keep that freshness if you've got staff who are going to stay long term?
Students. Brilliant. Summertime students, they just give a real buzz to the place.
They
do. They just, but if those, and they come at Christmas, they come at Easter, they come in the summer. So they're there for off and on about 4 or 5 months.
Because that's what we have. We got 4 we went for 30, 35 years, you know, Wattsville.
And they're the core.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that I'll really put a lot of training into. And they're the ones that I'm going to send to Germany. We're going to send 3 people to Germany this year. So I'll send them back to Germany. And those are the ones that I'll invest in because I want more people to get this whole ethos into their head and bring it back into business. And they'll then inject it back into the students who can possibly go off at an angle and do their own thing. They bring a lot of enthusiasm, but they also bring their own ideas about how they're going to run the business, and it's just keeping that within a corridor that you want it to be in. It's a challenge, and what we find is that sometimes you get people, that we have got an older, the permanent staff are slightly older, but actually you get a couple of sort of young guys who decide to have a year out and they want to spend it, and they kind of bring a bit of youth and vitality to the place. Also try and recruit, you know, I just recruited a chef, young guy, 20, another girl who's 19, so hopefully they'll stay with us for a while and they bring a bit of vitality to the team. And I should say there, visitors, repeat visitors, we have 27% repeat visitors. So for us, that's hugely important, and it shows we're getting something right. But it's much better to have a repeat visitor than have to go out and get new ones all the time.
What's the repeat ratio? Is it yearly, annually, biannually, monthly?
I don't know because I don't know by name. I just know just by sort of, have you been here before? Yes. I would probably say a lot of them, about a quarter of them, third, are coaches. So they come because the coach comes year in, year out, so they kind of come back. But a lot of locals, and they'll come because they've been recommended, they've enjoyed it, and they'll bring friends, and they'll come back again and again. But also people because they've had a good time, and they've got a new experience, so we talk to the database, so we email them from time to time, newsletters, ambassador schemes, all these kind of things. One more advert, almost done. Sorry, I have overrun, haven't I? Sorry, everyone's starving. No one's opened the bottle yet. Moral of that story: don't be something you're not. Be what be good at what you do. And that's what innovation, I said, doesn't need to be earth-shattering. It must differentiate you, and your staff must believe in it and understand it. But it doesn't have to be absolutely ground, earth-shattering, whatever. I think the biggest, you'll have heard this one, but the biggest innovation that Coke have done, I think, is to reduce the amount of weight in their cans in the last 10 years, something like that, because they save so much by taking weight out of the can. Or something, there's some stupid stat like that. You look at all the other innovations, like whatever, Cherry Coke or other ones that have failed, or the new change in the formula, all that kind of stuff. So we stick to what we're good at. Cook School. We have fantastic chefs, fantastic restaurants, facilities which are not used in the winter, a couple of rooms there, so let's turn them into Cook School. You see a couple of guys down here, their mum sent them on this before they went to university. Absolutely fantastic. Whisky School, this actually isn't, this is one of the Stillman, but it's in this warehouse number 9. You can see the cask back there where you taste the whisky from. Fantastic, a day behind the scenes. The new interactive show, as I said, coming in 2009, recycling our bar to the washbacks, which are part of the process we use for whisky making. They were due for renewal, they were going to get dumped, and we said, no, let's bring them here. They've been there 50 years, and they sat on my desk when I was on holiday for 2 weeks, and I came back and the aroma of whisky just oozing out of this. But we made it into a bar, which is fantastic, and it just gives us a chance, another story, another consumer sitting in the bar, and they go, do you know what's this? And they say, well, this is actually part of the whisky making process. More reason to believe. And new alliances, I've talked about that already. Okay, the future. More of the same. I mean, it's not rocket science, but building on success to date, continue to evolve and innovate. I mean, always looking at new things and what we can do differently. The big thing for next year, without a doubt, is going to be the show. But as I said, 3 members of staff are going to Germany next year for the Schinderhof experience again, and hopefully they'll come back really enthused, and they'll also have that message that Tracy had when she went there. And that's 4 people in my business now, so that's 25% of our business now all of a sudden have that message. Listening to our visitor and their changing needs, they always change. We've now gone online, all that kind of stuff, like half the rest of the world. But it's amazing how people do start planning their journey before they come to Scotland, so it's important you engage them at that point. Partner, I've talked about that. It's so important, partnership, whether it's internal or external, and that's really paid dividends. And as the credit crunch hits, that will pay even more dividends, because we will be pulling back like everyone else from all these trade shows, etc. But we can still go because people will go as partners. Collaborating with the team to better our products and services. I don't have all the answers, and my team don't have all the answers, but the staff pretty much do between them. And they've got good ideas, some that are slightly more challenging to deliver, but without a doubt, they're very much part of that process. We aim for 6-star service. We are a 5-star attraction. It's very easy to say to be 5-star occasionally. It's very hard to be it consistently. To be consistently 5-star, truly believe you have to aim for 6 stars, because that's the only way you'll actually be consistently 5-star. Never lose any of our passion. One team, one goal. I mean, everyone's got the same goal, and that is to have a fantastic, make sure the customer experience is fantastic. And there's lots of different ways to do that. It might be a personal little thing. It might just be taking real care of someone. It might be that example I gave you of taking someone home. Whatever it is, everyone has their own little way of finding what that little trick is. Keeping the customer experience at the heart of everything we do, that will never change. That mantra will never change. And everything we do, as I said to my staff, I don't really mind actually what goes on behind the scenes. The moment it starts affecting the customer experience is the moment I'll really get interested. So if they have a way of running their area and it works, that's fine. I'm not going to be too much of a dictator on that one and tell them how to do it. And again, developing our culture with the right people.